At Paws Academy, it's not just training, it's training that clicks.
Hi everybody and welcome back to the Barks to Basics podcast. Today we're diving into something that nearly every dog owner has dealt with at some point, which is jumping up. Now, if you're new here, my name is Renee and I'm the founder and head trainer at Paws Academy. So let's just get right into this. Your dog could be one of those who greets people by launching all four paws off the ground. You know, maybe he even plants a paw or two squarely on someone's chest. Now, if that is you or you're relatable, then keep listening to this episode as you're not alone and this isn't some mystery behaviour. Dogs do it because it works, but we can put some managing practices in place to help you. So if you look at it from their perspective, your dog wants attention. You walk in the door, they're excited, their whole body is buzzing and they want to be close to your face. So what do? They jump. And what happens next? Well, we talk to them. Maybe we laugh, maybe we push them off, maybe we say off, no, or we try to shuffle past them. But what we're rarely doing in that moment is truly ignoring them. And that's all your dog sees. You looked at them, you touched them, you made noise. Well, jackpot, the jumping worked for them. And that's the first thing we need to understand is dogs repeat behaviours that works. So if it gets them attention, it stays. Now we have clients ask us, is it just excitement? Isn't it cute? They're happy to see me. And sure, there is excitement there, but excitement doesn't mean you have to accept the behaviour. Think of it sort of like this. If your dog is excited when guests arrives, that doesn't mean they should go and chew the sofa or bark for 10 minutes straight. And it's the same principle with jumping up. So how do we change it? Well, we need to be clear and consistent. It's not about being harsh and it's not about making your dog feel bad. It's about showing them what works and what doesn't. So if we break this down into some steps, so the first one is stop rewarding the jump. Now, I know this sounds really, really obvious, but it's where most people slip up. Even negative attention, like saying no, pushing the dog away, can still feel like a reward to your dog. They're still getting interaction. So when they jump, we take our attention away. Turn your body sideways, fold your arms, don't speak, don't touch, don't even make eye contact with them. Now, this might feel really awkward to start with, especially if you're used to greeting your dog with energy and noise. But this is where your dog starts to learn jumping gets them absolutely nothing. Second step, teach something alternative. It's not enough to say, don't do it. Show them what you want to do them instead. So what is it you want them to do? Do you want them to sit? Do you want them to keep four paws on the floor? Do you want to walk over calmly? You pick what works for you and make this your goal. Now, sit sometimes is easier because what we can do is we can ask them to sit in that position and we teach them that when you sit gets them what they want, the attention. And you can practice this in small, calm ways to start. So have your dog nearby, walk into the room. If they jump up, ignore them. If they sit, yay, reward them. Even if there's only that pause for the moment, that's your window. Praise them, treat them, bend down, give them a pat. Nothing wild here. We don't want to rev them up, but we do this over and over again. We walk in, we wait for the sit or whatever you're asking, we reward, we repeat. Dogs learn faster when they are clear on what gets them results. So now we understand step 1 and step 2. What we now need to do is we need to set them up to succeed. So if your dog struggles to control themselves at the door, start further away, have them behind a baby gate, use a lead, ask for a sit before you even open the door. Make this environment easier for them to get it right. And remember, every time they rehearse jumping and it works, the habit just gets stronger. So we need to control this situation as much as we can whilst we're retraining it. And at this point, it's worth noting that for some dogs, jumping doesn't just happen at the front door. It might be when you're out for a walk, someone bends down to say hi, or when kids run around squealing and waving their hands. So if this is your dog, the exact same principle applies here, guys. We manage the space. You can use a lead, keep interactions calm. Reward the behaviour you do want, not the one you don't. And while we're here, let's talk about guests for a second, because I think we've all been in situations where this is where things can unravel if we're not careful, because even if we're consistent with our own training at home, when we have guests, they're not. And you might hear terms like, it's okay, it's fine. Oh, I love dogs, as your pups jump all over them. And yes, the guests might not mind, but your training, it just took a hit. So remember, we need to be very clear and consistent, very black and white, no grey areas for our dogs. And if that grey area is that they are allowed to jump up and down when guests arrive, that's why our training can at times start to go backwards. So what do we do? Well, what we need to do is try and coach our visitors a little, tell them that we're working on calm greetings, ask them to ignore our dog if they jump up and only give attention when the dog is sitting calm or in the position we want. Most people are happy to help if we're polite and clear about what it is we're doing. Now, we always know that there is an exception to this rule. So if that's not an option, or you have a guest that you know is going to be really, really into your dog, what we can do is keep our dogs on a lead, maybe behind a baby gate, etc., until the excitement has died down. And then we bring them out when they're more composed and ready to practice the behaviours and the cues we're looking for. So one of the other things, and I get asked this a lot, is what about punishment? Should I correct the jump? Now, this comes up a lot, and some of the things that I've heard is, should I knee them in the chest? What if I give them a firm no? And really the short answer is, well, you could do all of those things, but you're really going to confuse your dog or make them nervous, which often just refuels or fuels the problem and creates a new one. We like to use positive reinforcement when we're training, not negative reinforcement. So kneeing your dog in the chest, shouting no, really harshly pushing them off, that all counts as negative reinforcement, which is not a long-term solution to any training problem. So the most effective fix we could do is remove the attention and teach them a better way. That's it. We don't need to do anything hard or harsh to the dogs. We just need to stop feeding the behaviour, so being excited, laughing, joking, all of that good stuff, and give our dogs sort of that new path to follow. So now we really need to look at puppies. Now, puppies jump a lot. That's really normal. They're tiny, the world is big, and they're trying everything out. But the earlier we set the tone, the easier it is for them to grow out of it. So by this, I mean start as you mean to go on. If they're jumping up, this doesn't get them attention. Calm behaviour gets all the interaction. Now, that's the rule. That's what we stick to. And remember here, guys, consistency matters far more than how clever your dog is. So you need to remember here that all dogs are perfectly capable of learning this. Where we start to see some issues coming through isn't in the dog, actually, it's on us. And mainly it's, are we being clear enough? Are we sticking to the plan? Are there some grey areas? Are different members of the family doing different things? Are we making it confusing for our dog? So if we strip that back and there is that one rule, everybody aligns to it, our dogs are going to learn really quickly what it is we're asking them to do. So to wrap this up and to summarise this a bit, I guess, dogs jump because it works. If you stop rewarding it and you show them what to do instead, they'll change. We need to really be patient, be consistent, manage our environment while they learn, and really don't worry if progress is slow at first. That's normal. Even baby steps forward are still steps going forward. They don't need to be great leaps here. We can do them in these tiny little baby steps. And remember, when we're training our dog, it's not going to be perfect straight away. It's all about showing up again and again and again, and just making it clearer every time we do it, rewarding when they get, the right behaviours we're looking for. So yeah, I think that probably sums it up. But if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to always drop me a line here at Paws Academy. And thank you really for listening to this. And if this episode helped you, please feel free to share it with a friend who might be dealing with their spring-loaded dog of their own. And as ever, we'll be back soon with more simple, honest tips to make life with your dog just that little bit easier. So thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time.
At Paws Academy, it's not just training, it's training that clicks.